this is Brittany with marvelandmake.com. Today I'm going to show you how to make pecan pie, or pecan pie if you want to call it that, from scratch. Now the key to this pie is the crust. The crust is made from soft white wheat that I mill fresh right when I make it. So I use my mock mill that sits on the counter. I'm going to show you how to do that. And I mix it with some butter and I make this beautiful fresh pie crust. This is the same crust that I use for any pie that I make. So my savory beef pie or my chicken pot pie, those recipes I can link below. But it just really elevates the recipe, makes a big difference. So follow along to see how easy it is to do.
So I've turned on my mock mill. This is the mock mill Lino 100. I love it. I've been using it for about a year. You want to turn it on before you pour your grains in. So I've got it on. I've got it on the finest setting, so that will give me the most fine flour. And I'm just milling it into a flour. The beauty of having a mill sitting out on your counter is that you're able to make fresh flour for every recipe. So I have my fresh ground soft white wheat flour, and I'm going to add salt. I like to use my pastry blender just kind of as a little whisk, so a little bit less mess. So I'm just going to whisk that together. I have butter. All of the recipe ingredients I can put in the link below. I went ahead and cut the butter up and then put it in the fridge so it would be nice and cold. When you are making a pie crust, it's very helpful if the crust, the ingredients that you're working with are really cold. So cold butter, pastry blender, I highly recommend. I will link one below. That just makes my life so much easier. I use it for like making biscuits as well. It's a lifesaver. I'm now adding some ice water, again, nice and cold. And then I'll just blend all of that together. This is another kitchen favorite. It's a silicone spatula. This particular one, I will also put a link to. I've actually got 3 of them. I think they're really awesome. So all of that is blended. And then just use your hands, get in there, not to sound too hippie, but connect with your food. It's part of cooking, and just use your clean hands to mix everything together. And then you just separate into, basically 2 equal portions. One of each of these balls of dough will be a pie. So you're going to end up rolling out one and then the other and making your pie. I'm going to put that in the freezer while I make the filling. So again, all of these ingredients, the measurements I have in the recipe below. But basically I have some melted butter that I'm mixing together with some honey granules. You can also use sucanat or just a regular old cane sugar. You want to blend your melted butter in with your sugar and then add your eggs one at a time. That just makes sure everything is nice and incorporated, and it kind of whips it a little bit, gives it a nice creamy texture. Just making sure everything is kind of mixed there, adding in the last egg, followed by some salt and some vanilla. This is vanilla bean paste. This is like my secret ingredient when I'm baking. I don't use vanilla extract. I use vanilla bean paste, and it just really brings out the vanilla flavor. It is so lovely, and it also gives you those little specks of vanilla in your baked goods. So especially if you're making ice cream, it's really nice. Also just showed that I use an organic corn syrup. Corn syrup is not good for you, just going to be honest. But if you can find the organic kind, it's just a little bit better. Then just mix in your pecans or pecans. And I'm going to give that another stir here in a minute. Just make sure those are all nice and coated. That is your pie filling. Super easy. I'm using a KitchenAid stand mixer. I love to use that for baking. It just makes everything a lot easier. You can kind of just go hands-free. Now I'm taking some butter and I'm just basically going to grease 2 pie plates, pie pans. You could use a spray, like a spray oil as well, but I like to use just butter. In this video, I've already rolled out one of the pie crusts, and so I'm now working the second one. I left the pie crust in the freezer a little bit too long because I was recording, and they really froze and got hard. So I'm having to just kind of work it back so it's kind of nice and pliable. That probably won't happen to you because you'll be going a lot faster than me. But so I just kind of worked the dough, and then on a clean floured surface, just add some flour. This is a silicone rolling pin that I love. It helps for things not to stick, even though this one was kind of sticking. But just kind of slowly roll that out, work it out. If you know me, you know that I'm a little bit messy, and my food is never really that pretty, but it does taste delicious. So this pie crust just doesn't, it's not beautiful. I don't pride myself in making things beautiful. I pride myself in making them nutrient dense and delicious. That is a dough scraper that I'm using, and that's another kitchen essential that I love, especially if you're working with pie crust or pizza crust. It's something that I always use. So just pop that pie crust in there. And like I said, I've already got the other one rolled out as well. So I'm just going to evenly distribute the filling into each of the crusts, and just make sure you kind of get the same amount of pecans in each one, because sometimes kind of the liquid will come out faster than the nuts. So evenly distribute it, and then you're just going to place them in a preheated oven. Again, all of the times are below. My oven cooks them right at an hour, and it's perfect. But you might want to check yours. If you just kind of put a butter knife in, check them at about 50 minutes. That's 50 minutes. Mine cook right in an hour, but check them just to be sure. And if the butter knife, if you insert a butter knife and it comes out clean, then they are ready.
That's how simple it is to make pecan pie from scratch. I love to have a couple of these for the holidays. It's our family favorite. Really, really delicious and basically healthy, right? Follow marvelandmake.com for more nutrient-dense recipes.